students and teachers of Reddit, what's the best forgot to turn off the mic story during virtual learning? Not exactly a forgot to turn off the mic, but more of a forgot to cut the call. My aunt, Liz, a teacher, was calling certain students who haven't been submitting on their work since the beginning of school. One of the students' dads answered and said his son was sick and that he would be recovering by next week. At the end he forgot to cut the call and we heard him yelling to the kid, "Get your fucking lazy ass off the couch, the teachers are fucking calling me and I have to lie to them." Then he noticed and cut the call. I can only imagine his face when he noticed. I don't have any mic or camera stories, but I will say the Zoom chats can get wild. In a call I wasn't in, someone posted a Pornhub link. Also during my first lecture for a teacher whose class I proceeded to immediately switch out of, the whole chat was saying she can't teach or that they are confused to a degree. Was finishing up a competitive match when I logged on. Forgot to mute. I shouted, "You stupid fucking bitch." At the video game then I heard my professor say hi my name. I muted myself immediately and cracked up. Unmuted and said sorry. She wasn't mad. Catholic school. During our professional development sessions, we heard one of the nuns call someone in jackass. Had just started my class, said hi and thought I turned off my mic. I was sitting there 3 cups of coffee deep and let out not only a loud but long fart. The kind that vibrates your cheeks a little. Thought everything was good until a "bless you" popped up in the chat. I was taking a math and English placement test and we had a proctor that would go between 3 different students. She joined my call and all I heard was a loud sniff and, "Man, why does it smell like coffee and butt cheeks in here?" And then looked at the camera mortified when she noticed she wasn't muted. The principal thought he had turned everyone's mics off, but the next thing we heard was someone ordering from McDonald's. The principal jokingly yelled at him, but then asked for a double cheeseburger. This isn't a turn off mic story, but it's as awkward. YouTube has those targeted ads that play. My cooking teacher left the room while playing a YouTube video of how to peel an orange with a knife. Targeted ad starts playing and then advert for shaving balls turns on. He comes back inside the room and fast walks over to the computer and skipped the ad. Everyone avoided eye contact and it was probably the most awkward experience in school. Not Mike, but a 3rd grade student's mother walked into frame after getting out of the shower. My district had to send a message out to the parents to make sure that they are properly dressed before walking into frame. We were doing presentations on ourselves on Google Slides and this girl that went right after me said that she liked to bake as a hobby. I had forgotten to turn off my mic and when she said that I said she likes to bake weed brownies. My teacher heard me say that and just smiled and everyone else started to spam my phone and laughed in the class. I was really embarrassed. I had a student's dad walk in the room behind his kid, nothing but his whitey-tidies, open the fridge and then drink straight out of the gallon of milk for like a good 2 minutes. Big hairy dude too. He knew exactly what he was doing. I'm a student and my teacher was talking to his wife at first. Pretty normal, right? Well, she leaves then Getty gets on the phone and says, "Yeah honey, my wife just left, wanna come over?" The entire class went batshit bro. While my professor was giving her lecture, a student started talking to their housemate and said, "This bitch thinks I'm paying attention." When the lecture went completely silent, the student followed up with, "Unless you can hear me." Kid's brother got yelled at for watching porn. We heard the video start because it was hooked up to a Bluetooth speaker. Great times. The other day I was in a meeting with 180 people and my mic was still on after I finished speaking and I walked into the kitchen where my dad was eating lunch and he goes, "What's up bitch boy?" I had a student give a smart-ass response to a question I asked and before I could respond his mom starts chewing into him and hitting him with a chancla. His mic and video was on for the whole thing. During our faculty meeting about coming back in safely, our principal said if we're out sick they'll get a sub. One of the teachers said, "Ain't going to be no fucking subs." Principal, did someone say something? This was work not school, but someone posted a drawing of a Hello Kitty type character on the side of their presentation during a virtual meeting. One of my co-workers mumbled, "Damn fat ass." Which, when I looked again, yeah, the character had a pear body shape. Not a Zoom, but when I was a flight attendant, we used handheld mics to give briefings and make announcements. One female passenger got in my friend's face and screamed at her that if her bags were lost or if her golf bag was damaged, she would make sure to hold her personally responsible. My friend was pretty shaken not only by the loudness and anger, but by the woman's spittle and tried to hold it together to give her departure briefing. "Welcome aboard flight XXX, service to Orlando." You fucking bitch. My son calls his tablet his fix because when I first got it and the battery would die, I'd tell him I was going to fix it. So imagine his pre-K teacher's surprise last spring when he asked me if he could have his fix now that he was done with school. Lol, I cracked up, held up the fix in question, and explained what he meant. Not virtual, but I was a guest speaker at a music college last year. My mic was still on when I finished, went backstage and said, "Well, that was fucking horrible." I wasn't called back to speak again. I had a student's boyfriend both college, walk up behind her on Zoom, reach into her shirt, pull out her breasts, and start doing a little boob dance. She was just laughing and playfully slapping his hands away. This was probably 30 seconds after I had just gone through my whole speech of making sure there was nothing in your browser history, Google search history, or names of folders that could be embarrassing or offensive. One of my professor's classes had a student say something like, "I just joined 5 minutes before class, and this asshole is already teaching." The professor just laughed and told him his mic was on. Dude, my one teacher forgot to turn off his camera and his son was changing in the background and the son kept on looking at the camera. During my English class, this one girl forgot to mute herself. While my teacher was talking, she almost deafened all of us on the Zoom call answering her mother's questions. Her mother, from a distance, "What class are you in?" Her yelling, "English." Her mother, "Oh, the hot teacher." Her, "Yeah, that guy." Ironically, my IT teacher forgot to turn off his mic and camera and proceeded to get in a very heated argument on the phone with his ex-girlfriend who he has a kid with. Did I mention that she's also a teacher at our school? Yeah, most awkward 5 minutes of my life before he realized. Heard the clapping sound of a kid jerking off. His name lit up and everything. I teach for an online university that requires me to conduct a weekly live session. One morning I was lecturing and a student popped in late. I said, "Hello, student name. Thanks for joining us." She said, "Don't say my name, bitch." Just before she realized her mic was on and turned it off. I just laughed. When I was doing an online algebra camp, the teacher forgot to turn off his mic while we were supposed to be doing some problems. He said, "I fucking hate math." Grade 3 kid stopped in the middle of the class meeting and took his laptop to the bathroom with him. He sat on the toilet for the rest of the meeting. Like and subscribe so you don't miss my daily videos.